So going into game 3, by the way, Food Chain, a deck that has had spikes in popularity as time goes on. Kind of similar style to the Allurin deck, another green enchantment combo, but a bug shell, Sultai shell, when you're playing a bunch of value creatures and trying to win off of a combo.
Now let me just amend your comment a little bit.
Sure.
When Food Chain spikes in popularity, you don't mean it goes from being on the fringes to being popular. You mean it goes from being non-existent to being on the fringes.
From 1% to 5%.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm saying we're going from 0 to 0.5.
Okay, sure.
Either way, Tomsovic has played this deck in the past. He has played it for a while.
This is the deck that he won the March CT with, defeating Joe Bernal in the finals.
Yeah, so that's how he got here. And Peter Tragos playing Storm. Peter's been a long-time player, and I don't know his experience with this deck, but I know he felt fairly confident. I know he was disappointed to lose the first round.
I will say Peter has described himself before as a Storm master.
Uh-huh.
I don't wanna, embarrass him if he loses this one, but he's played this deck for a number of years. We see a Deathrite Shaman for Tommy. Oh, excuse me, Noble Hierarch, as they were not able to play that card anymore, but Noble Hierarch fitting the bill.
So Tommy has, if you're unfamiliar with Food Chain, we're going to be recycling creatures, the Mist Hollow Griffin being the primary one.
Yeah. So Food Chain is an enchantment that we're going to pull up on screen for you in just a moment, which allows you to exile a creature in play, and then you get to add a number of mana to your pool of any color equal to the sacrifice creature's cost +1. As we see that up here on the screen from Mercadian Masks. Now, Mist Hollow Griffin is a creature from Abyssin Restored. It's a 3/3 for 4 flyer, which says you may cast it from exile. So basically, Tommy gets to cast a Mist Hollow, exile it for 5 blue mana, recast it from exile, and keep doing that ad nauseum until he has created infinite mana of every single color, if he so chooses.
And obviously, one of the appealing aspects of those cards is it makes your Force of Will a 1-for-1.
Absolutely.
Because that Mist Hollow Griffin, for all intents and purposes, is still in Tommy's hand.
Right. Still in Tommy's hand is the Mist Hollow Griffin, since it may be cast from the graveyard. I know Tommy was saying...
From exile.
Excuse me, yes, from exile. I know Tommy was saying just last week, he was testing this deck, and some players don't know how to play against certain decks like this. And that's one of the edges that Tommy receives by choosing to play a deck like this. We had a player, Surgical Extraction Tommy's Mist Hollows one time.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And he was extremely happy about that one, let me tell you. But yeah, my point is, Tommy gains certain edges when he plays these rogue decks like this, and it pays off a lot for him.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. So we have Peter with an early Thoughtseize and then no follow-up as of yet, and we're getting him, which is... Not totally backbreaking, but it's not good.
Yeah, Peter's deck is fairly redundant. He's trying to connect 2 different card types in a way. Him will snipe away that Dark Ritual and an Infernal Tutor. Tutor being a really essential part of the combo.
Yeah, now Storm can play somewhat from the graveyard, and so that's not... Well, we'll see how Peter's able to develop. Now, Tommy's deck is not going to have... in infinite ways to defend itself here against this deck like this. He has Force of Wills, Hymns, and we'll take a look and see what he has as backup.
He does sometimes play some main deck discard.
Sure. But as far as other counters go, let's see if we can dig up. Here we go. He has... What do we have in the 1-mana counter compartment? We have 1 Flusterstorm out of the board... And that looks like it. So no Spell Pierce for Peter to worry about. Just some discard spells. Actually, a lot of discard spells.
One interesting choice on Peter's side, actually. He's going for the full 8 discard spells this time around, where he's playing 4 Cabal Therapy and 4 Duress. Sometimes that number is like 6 or 7, but he's going all out today to have a full discard suite. Does have the 1 of Ad Nauseam, the 1 of Dark Petition. And its only kill condition in the main deck is the Tendrils.
You're the Cabal Therapy is unusual in Storm these days. I feel like to have a full set.
Right, yeah. Peter has kind of made the choice to play all 8 today.
Yeah,
Oh,
Thoughtseize and
me.
Duress is what you're looking
He
for.
has
there.
cut the therapies. He's playing just Thoughtseize Duress. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Thoughtseize Duress has become, since Gitaxian Probe was banned, the most common builds of Storm are playing as opposed to 6 or 7 discard spells before. They're playing 8 now, and Cabal Therapy still shows up occasionally, but not at the rate it used to. And again, here we're seeing Thoughtseize and Duress
for sure. Tommy just has to kind of, I'm going to say, waste his turn by paying 4 mana for a 3/3. In the face of Lion's Eye Diamond, it's kind of an underpowered play, but it's going to be a clock for him.
And a clock is important. A lot of times when I'm playing against Storm, I like to think of it as, there's 3 kind of aspects of fighting them. You fight the spells in their hand, you fight their life total, and then you want to be able to fight the graveyard where the Past in Flames does its work. And so Mist Hollow seems, kind of lame here, but it is a 4-point clock, so it would reduce Ad Nauseam's effectiveness over time. I don't believe it looks like we're going to get there, though.
Peter Tragos going off very quickly here. He's going to sacrifice the Lotus Petal for a ritual, followed by a second ritual into Infernal Tutor, holding priority to create an Infernal Tutor, cracking that LED.
Yeah, Hellbent Tutor here. He's going to be searching whatever he wants. Let's see. I would say that it's likely that we're going for Past in Flames.
Yep.
Ad Nauseam would also be functional, but Past in Flames is probably deterministic. There's not going to be any randomness like there would be with Ad Nauseam off the top. Ad Nauseam sometimes, even at 18 life with mana floating, you can lose. Whereas here with the Past in Flames, unless Tommy has Graveyard Hate sitting in his hand, this should do it.
Now, Tommy's just kind of, shrugging his shoulders, essentially saying, pass priority for your whole turn. Yep, give me your best or give me your worst. All right.
And Peter takes it down. So both.